Hey, I'm Susanna Lanier, actor and acting coach for over 25 years.
I'm Jess Greenberg, casting director for over 10 years.
We're here to help you navigate this crazy, creative, and sometimes chaotic journey into the film and television world.
We share our insights as to what works.
And invite some pretty spectacular guests to share more ideas to move you on your journey.
So without further ado, let's get into the show. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Minisode.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about getting the motivation to start your own projects and putting things out there and just doing it.
Yeah, and try not to overthink it because we can overthink ourselves out of anything.
Yeah, exactly. So this actually made me think of you, Susanna, when you started your clubhouse. And before it was a well-known platform, you just did it. So how did you decide to do that?
Yeah, well, it was actually my partner had talked about this really cool thing, Clubhouse, which is this platform, which is still not really that big in Canada. I think it's bigger in the States, but it was almost like a radio call-in show, but everybody just calls in and at the same time and chats about a topic. And I thought, oh, I had already had the seed that I wanted to start a podcast, but knew nothing about podcasting and also didn't know if I'd be able to host or ask questions or anything. So I said, well, let me try this Clubhouse thing. So that's what I did. I started these Clubhouse meetings and I sent everybody the link. And at first it was, I don't know what stage, it's in the beta stage. So it was only people with iPhones could come on. And then later on, as I was doing it, because I did it for a year, weekly meetings for a year, and then I think Android phones were also allowed it. So then we were all allowed in, but that's what I started, the Clubhouse. And it was really, I knew nothing about it. It's not even like I was listening to Clubhouse all the time. I just thought I listened to a couple of things on there. I said, oh, this will be a fun thing to start if I decide I want a podcast. And so that's what I did. And we had these weekly meetings and talked about all sorts of different topics, acting related, but everything. And it was a lot of fun. And that's where Jess and I also, we already knew each other. We rented a space together, but I was inviting her. And then we, started to realize that our thoughts were aligned. And then we started talking about the podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I joined maybe not for the full year, but pretty regularly every week. And I always loved those conversations. It was another way to, connect with everyone, talk about mindset and also just inspiring, motivating that, we're literally all in this together. And I always thought those conversations, everyone had such amazing things to share, so insightful. And I was always so impressed that you got a nice amount of people joining live weekly every week.
Amazing.
People from work, from wherever they were, they would be hopping on and listening and sharing. It was so cool.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. And then it inspired to start this podcast, which is something that's been kind of brewing. And then I knew Jess also was brewing something in her mind. And then again, another thing, I figured that I do really well with accountability partners, or I have a lot of ideas that are always stirring, but hard to get to it because life is busy. So things always can take you away from like big picture goals, right? But I knew I'm a reliable person. So if I told somebody, I'll do that, I'll do it. So then I knew Jess was thinking about doing the podcast. And so then I said, hey, maybe we could kind of be each other's accountability partner for the podcast and sort of get things done. And then from there, we decided to do it together. And now that's what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I remember our brainstorm and how we both had, a few ideas of different kinds of podcasts that we would want to put out there. And it's true. It sort of started as like, okay, maybe we just are each other's accountability people and we each do our own thing. And, we're learning as we go and we push and we share information. And then I remember I was really inspired by the Clubhouse topics and I was like, okay, that worked really well. And I remember loving it and loving those chats. And then that's when we decided, okay, well, maybe we just do this thing together and continue those chats, but on this platform.
Which is, yeah, and it's so fun and it's working out. So I guess what this topic is about, if we have an idea, just do it. Try not to overthink it. With Clubhouse, I didn't overthink at all. I was just like, okay, I'm going to try this. I know nothing about what I'm doing. And yeah, and I think that's I think it's important as an actor, a creative, a person who's basically self-employed, to try things. And if you have an idea, because I'm definitely an overthinker, but I think you got to just keep getting things out there. That's how you know what's connecting and what feels right.
Exactly. And I think just sharing ideas or putting it out there of like what you want to do, when you're putting it out there, then you're also allowing people to approach with advice or help or shared goals. If I never said anything, like if I had to keep it a secret of like me wanting to start a podcast, like what's the big secret, but if I hadn't shared it, how would we have known? Or, and same with you. You knew maybe your end goal was the podcast and potentially you have more goals after a podcast, but you just started with Clubhouse and tested the waters there, and then one thing led to another. So
yeah, it's really fun. So I think, that's it. Just put yourself out there and try things and have fun with it. And we're going to have our Michael on in the next episode in a couple of days about him self-producing his own project. He ended up, and we'll hear this in the podcast, but having the best year of his life after he had released that. So sometimes you don't even know, like you're putting it out there and it's not the exact goal or happens, but other great things come from it. And I think, but you have to put it out there first.
Yeah. And one thing that he did say, which stuck with me, was that by putting it out there, it made it real.
Yeah.
Right. And not just this like dream, it's happening. And so if you're interested, get on board. And if not, that's fine. But this is happening now. It's real. So, it does keep you even more accountable to yourself too, if you don't find that partner to do it with. But by speaking it becomes
posting it on social media, looking for a grip for my project, it makes it real.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's, that's great. So I just think we should all just keep creating and keep our projects going and creating.
And if you feel that you've been wanting to start something, our message is just to do it and just start messy, right?
Yeah. Start messy. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have an amazing couple of days, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.